Hi there, Flat Cap Chef here, and today I'm going to show you how to make a French meringue. You can have Italian meringues, Swiss meringues, or do this another day. So this is what most people would normally cook, so a French meringue. So I've got my bowl here, I've got my mixer, and I've got 4 large eggs, and then I've got 110 grams of caster sugar, and I'm going to use 110 grams of icing sugar. You don't have to use the icing sugar, you can just do 220 grams of caster sugar. I've got my oven on and I've set it at 100 degrees, which is I think a quarter on its gas, and that's warming up nicely, ready to go. So what are we going to do? Let's have a look. So first I've got my eggs, so I need to, a little bowl here to put the yolks in. I need to crack these, separate out the white from the yolk. So we do it like this. You can strip it through your fingers if you want. I use the sharp edge to kind of cut off bits. Once we've got it like there, drop that into there. We're doing 4 of these, and it's really important that you don't get any yolk in your egg white. If you do, it won't actually whip up to the meringue consistency. So no egg white, no shell. You now drop that in there. So we're tipping it from shell to shell, and then any yolk for that in between. There we go. Same again. There we go. Again, use this to sharp it, just to get rid of it. There we go. And then the final one. There we go. Just be careful when you do it that you don't actually split the yolk. There we go. I've got a little bit of shell in there, which I'm going to just take out. Don't really want it in there. There we go. Just get rid of that. Give me a second and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my little bit of shell out. Now I've got my whisk, and I'm going to give this a good old whisk. Nice and speedy. And lift the beaters off now and just swirl them around. I'm going to cook the meringues for about an hour and a half, so 90 minutes. If you want them to be crispy, then just leave them in the oven, turn the heat off, leave them in the oven, and they'll continue to dry out until the oven cools. If you want them a little bit more chewy in the centre, then you take them out, cool them on a rack, and you can store them for 3, 4, 5 days in an airtight container without any particular problem. Although in our house they get eaten pretty quickly. So this is now fluffing up nicely. Almost to the point where I'm going to be adding the sugar. So once it starts to form some heat, then I'll add the sugar. You don't want to over whip them. To do this and be a little bit tough. I want it to be nice and light and airy. So there we go, that's taken just over a minute probably. There we go. It's pretty firm, as you can see. Okay, so now I've got my caster sugar, just any old caster sugar, and I'm going to add it a little bit at a time, so about a tablespoon at a time. You want this to mix in really well. There we go. And a little bit more. You add it all at once, it's quite hard to mix in properly. What we want is this to go a kind of really shiny, glossy colour. once it does that, then we know that we are ready to add our icing sugar. The icing sugar just makes it super special, really. Gives it a nice texture. But as I say, you can just double up and use caster sugar. Now, I have that situation where I haven't had caster sugar, and what I do then is I get normal granulated sugar and I pound it up with a pestle and mortar or a rolling pin or something. And in fact, that's what you then get, because caster sugar is really just fine sugar, so it absorbs more quickly. Here we go. I'll be back when I've got this beaten in. Okay, so I've now been beating it in. It took about another 5 or 6 minutes. Now, the way to test whether or not this is actually done is if you take a little bit between your finger and thumb, give it a rub together. If it feels grainy still, then you need to do a bit more whisking, because that means that the sugar is still not properly incorporated. But this is really smooth. Wash that off the fingers. And now I've got my icing sugar, which I don't need my whisks anymore. Need a little spatula for folding, and I need this. So I'm going to put about half of it in there. It's always kind of quite lumpy, icing sugar, so I just find it's easier just to give it a quick run around. You actually taste the sugar in the air, because you get clouds, if you're not careful, of icing sugar everywhere. So just do it gently. There we go. And I'll do my second half. There we go. Just smooth it in. There we go. Done. Give it a bit of a tap. And now I'm just going to fold this in. Okay. So we've still got lots of air in it, obviously. And if you're going to be posh about this, you can take this, pop this into a piping bag, and obviously you can pipe it into lovely swirls or rounds, or if you're doing something bigger, then a great big piece. Whereas with this one, for me, I'm actually going to make an eaten mess, so it's going to be smashed up. So I'm not going to take too much care about how I actually deal with this next stage. I'm just going to basically get a spoon and plonk it out onto my baking sheet. So make sure that that's all nicely incorporated, which it is. Okay, and now I'll go and get my baking sheet. Okay, so I've got my baking sheet and my baking paper, and I've got my spoon. I'm going to use a little bit off the side here, just a little bit around the edges and in the middle. This will just help the paper to stick down. And there we go. It's now sticking down nicely. And then I'm just going to get my spoon, plop on my meringue. I don't mind if it's touching, as I said, because I'm going to just make an eaten mess, so it's going to get broken anyway. There we go. As I said, this is going to go into an oven at 100 degrees, gas mark a quarter. It's going to go in there for an hour and a half, 90 minutes. And then I'm going to leave it in the oven to cool down a little bit, and that will just crisp it up a little bit, which would be lovely. But if you want it a little bit chewier, take it out and let it cool on a rack rather than in the warmth of the cooling oven. There we go. That's it. So there's my little pile of meringues. I'm going to pop those in the oven, and then we'll be back to see the end result. Okay, so they've been in for an hour and a half now, and there they are. They will actually sort of lift off the paper, and what you end up with is, after an hour and a half, if you take a piece like this, you end up with this, which is a sort of soft mallow bit in the middle. Lovely crispy bit on the outside. And if you want them to stay like this with this softer bit in the middle, take them out now. Gently peel off the baking paper, put them on a rack to cool. And once they're fully cool, you can either use them or you can put them in an airtight container for a few days. Or what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to actually leave these to dry out in the oven. So I'm going to switch the oven off. That will just mean that we won't have quite such a soft middle to them. And then we're done. So that's how you do French meringues. And if you need to see more, just subscribe. It's free and it just means you get a notification when I post the next video. And I'll be back soon. Bye bye.